everybody. I'm going to try to speak in English, even if it's not my language. I'm French, as you know, and I was farmer from 1966 until 2009, when I was elected in the European Parliament. So I am going to talk about my own experience, and I think it's better about what we have to discuss about. We had an experience which was a local experience, where I was living in the south of France in a place which is called Larzac, which is an agriculture area where we have sheep, and we milk sheep for making cheese. This is this area. And the army wanted to take our land. This was in 1971. And we had to fight during 10 years against the French army who wanted to take our land to make a military camp. And this was a very important fight. It was a national fight in France. And during the fight and after the fight, we needed also not only to fight to keep our land, but also to find new ways of living, new ways of producing, new ways of selling our products. And so we built our new economy, I can say, in the same time we were fighting against our common enemy, which was the French army. And so I'm not going to talk to you about all the story, but with different points have been put on directly, as we can talk about cooperatives. The first thing we show clearly on the countryside that our first problem was the land. How could we share land and how we could distribute land between the farmers? We needed to be clear about that, and that's how we built a cooperative to share the land, and all the farmers of our area are part of the cooperative, the land organization, and we decide who is going to have this land, or this land, at what price it will be owned, and when a young farmer wants to go in, when an older one finishes his time, we collectively decide who is going to be the young farmer who will take the land. So this is a very important question, the fact to organize ourselves on the land issue. For farmers, it's very important at a local level. The second thing was to learn about what we could do. And we made a link, very interesting link, with French university, this during the fight. And we had links with universities who are saying clearly, we have a knowledge, a university knowledge, but you as farmer have a local and an experience. And we can share both, coming from the high and from the low, and we can share this. How could we build something else? And so that's why in our area we built a special university which was called Larzac University. And it was very interesting because this, of course, there was a lot of debate on story, geography, but also biology, how you call it, veterinary, and so on and so on. And this helped us. And we built a new cooperative, which was completely issued from that. We built a veterinary cooperative, and the veterinarians are now paid by the farmers. They are working for the farmers. The farmers don't go anymore to see a veterinary when there is a problem. The veterinary which working all year long with the farmers for the cooperative, so they are making completely another way of work. So this was very interesting as an experience of building a cooperative. It was a need, but also we wanted to change our views. And the young students who wanted to be veterinary also understood that this would be a new issue for them, another way to work. So this was the second point. The third point was about our production. We are in a very poor land, and we knew that if we wanted to go in the model, the industrial model of agriculture, instead of having maybe 150 farmers in this place, we would have only 50. That means that to have industrial agriculture, we needed more land and more animals by family. So this was a problem. Our social issue was to say we want to keep all the farms, and if we want to keep all the farms, we need to change the agroeconomic model. And that's why we choose to have the more income possible by the transforming our product, and not only making prime production for factories or for the big market. And we organized, firstly, a cooperative for meat, because some farmers were not milking sheep, but were making meat only. Secondly, after we made a cooperative for milk, and we put them together, we opened a local market, a shop, and also we organized social markets open to people to make the link between the farmers and the consumers. And so all these things I'm talking about were in the beginning of the 80s and are still now working more than 30 years after. And we have, of course, a new generation inside of this. So I'm giving you this example to show that this was not in a moment where things were good for us, because we didn't know if we will be able to stay on our farms, but we did this during the struggle at the moment where we were afraid to get out of the farm. So I think this is important to say such things. That means that even in a country as Greece, when you are in a situation, a crisis situation, this is really the moment when you have to build alternatives. You don't have to wait that the situation gets better. It's because they have decreased that you're able maybe to find the way to build new way of production, new solidarity, and I think this is important. And we saw this in very many places all over the world. I saw this in Brazil with the MST, the social movement of people who have no land, and they built their own way of production and selling. I saw this in many other areas all over the world where we can see concrete results of social economy. So maybe this is part of the agriculture's history, to organize themselves as in a cooperative way. And in general, when it stays little at a local level, it works well. And just to finish, I can make the link with what was said in the plenary before about the big cooperatives we have in France. Because of course France is well known for its agriculture cooperatives. But of course we have different kind of agriculture cooperatives. We have small ones, as the example I give. We have also very interesting small cooperatives on agricultural material. And in each village in France, we have a cooperative for material. That means that the farmers don't have to buy each of them new material. It's the village who buy it. And we have it in all the villages. So it's very interesting as a way. And these are very small cooperatives. But we have also very big ones. And this has been a problem of these 15 last years when the local cooperatives for buying fertilizers or feed for the cattle and so on got bigger and bigger, and after being cooperatives to buy all these things, they began cooperatives to sell the products of the farmers, and at one moment in the 70s and 80s and now, these cooperatives have been so big that the farmers were not able anymore to keep the control of the decisions. And and the directors and the staff was taking the power inside of the cooperative. And they changed the rules of going on, saying to the farmers, if we don't change the rules, the cooperative is going to fall down, so you have to be happy with what we are saying to you. And so that was terrible. And now, these local cooperatives have been so big that they have the same issues that the capitalist private companies. And what he was saying about the Crédit Agricole, which is a bank, which is one of the worst banks now in Europe. And this was in the beginning local. So when we talk about cooperatives and farming, the issue is important at the local. We can coordinate, but we have always to be having in our minds that if the farmers lose the control, the direct control of the cooperative, it's finished. And so I think this is not only a problem in France, I think it's a global problem, but we have to keep this really importantly in our mind. Thank you.